Every tattooed individual has gotten theirs for a different reason. There are people who get tattoos to memorialize friends, family, pets, or anyone else that they may admire, whether they've passed away or they are still alive. Many people use tattoos as a way to cover up scarring from traumatic events or, previous life experiences that they don't wish to remember anymore. People get tattoos because they love the design or they want to support a certain artist. They use them to cope with depression or any other mental illness. They use it as a sign of expression to say, this is who I am, without having to, showcase it through their apparel or anything else that they might be able to do that with. But most importantly, tattoos are a form of art. And I'm sure growing up, a lot of people have been told that tattoos will make you unemployable, or that they're not professional in a workplace environment, or that you can never get an office job or anything outside of a trade with tattoos. But given the current statistics around tattoos today, it's simply not a fact anymore. I'm sure in previous generations, mostly when, our parents were growing up, when tattoos first started to circulate, they were not thought of as professional. They were thought of as distractions or a sign of being a criminal, because many tattoos were done in prisons. And while it is still true that tattoos are done in prisons today, there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of tattoo shops across the country, and there's even more over the world. There are also some cultures and religions where tattoos are a tradition, and they're very symbolic of things that they believe in. But given all of these things, tattoos should be allowed in the workplace today because they are a form of art. People are allowed to hang paintings or photographs or quotes or anything they want in their office cubicle because it's art. It's a way for them to express themselves and make it theirs. So why should people have to cover up tattoos, a permanent form of art that showcases who they are as a person? Why should they have to cover them purely to go to work or to get a job? There are 42% of adults in the United States that have tattoos right now. 73% of employers say that they'd hire a tattooed individual. And there's only about 4% of Americans that say they've actually experienced workplace discrimination because of their tattoos. This is a huge, huge factor in determining the fact that tattoos are acceptable in the workplace and that the stigma that they are unemployable or unprofessional needs to be eradicated. The workforce with the highest percentage of tattoos is the military. This is a government-run sanction and company. They are fighting for our country, and they are held to the utmost respect by everybody. And they are allowed to have tattoos, as many as they want, as long as they are fully healed when they are deployed or in boot camp. The most lenient occupation for tattoos is government occupations. Anything sanctioned by the government in terms of employment tend to be fairly okay with tattoos. My mother is a government contractor. She works on Aberdeen Proving Ground, which is a military base. She has told me on several occasions that her generals, sergeants, colonels, everybody are allowed to have tattoos and they are allowed to show. And the fact that it is able to be done in the government workplace and not in smaller office buildings is kind of a shocker. I personally have 2 visible tattoos. I have one right here on my bicep, and I have one right here on my forearm. Never once have I ever faced any kind of discrimination or negative reactions from anybody at work. I actually do get a lot of compliments from people, customers, my bosses, my coworkers, even new hires about both of my tattoos. At least half of the people that I see at work that come into my workplace have tattoos, and they are visible. A lot of them are wearing government county uniforms. They are wearing nurses' uniforms, and they are wearing other uniforms that are very recognizable for what they do as their occupation. All of my coworkers that are over the age of 18 have at least one tattoo. My boss even asked me in my interview if I had any tattoos or was choosing to get one or any. His only rule was that it could not offend his grandmother. And my parents have told me that as long as they are not offensive, vulgar, or inappropriate for children, I was allowed to get whatever I want because they know that as an artist, it is a way for me to express myself and my being. I personally would never work for someone who told me that I could not show my tattoos or I would be terminated, because for me, that is who I am. Art is part of who I am as a person and is a way for me to it is a way for me to express myself and show what I love doing and the people that I love the most. I am getting another tattoo next month. My boss, I told him this, and he still said that he was thinking of promoting me within the next year to a higher paid position with more power and authority. And that is my biggest takeaway, is that there is no reason that tattoos should not be accepted in the workplace. If you are working for the right management and the right company, they will let you express yourself. The other thing to remember is that the majority of tattoos can be covered. If you are considering getting a tattoo before you have your set career, think about where you're going to get them placed before then. You need to be able to cover them in case you do end up in a job where it's not acceptable to have them shown, which is not that hard because most office jobs have a dress code of long sleeve dress shirts and long slacks or knee-length skirts. So pretty much the basic areas where people get tattooed can always be covered. A lot of people actually keep their tattoos covered for so long that their coworkers don't even know they have any. My aunt works for the state's attorney's office, and she has probably over 20 tattoos. And for the first 3 years of her job, no one in her office knew that she had a single one. I have had teachers from as early as elementary school that have had tattoos and were allowed to show them in any kind of regards that they wanted to. So yes, tattoos can mean a lot of things. They can be a memorial, a religious tradition, meaningful or spontaneous. But regardless, as long as they're not offensive, vulgar, or inappropriate, there's no reason they shouldn't be allowed to be displayed wherever and whenever. They're part of people, and they are a way for people to express themselves.